Trapp breakdown, and it's going to be pretty fun. This one comes via another recent YouTube short that he put out, and it's pretty cool because it kind of deviates from what he normally does. This time it's kind of like a 90s alternative, what he calls a pop sound, and you know, it's a little different than what he usually puts out. So again, we're in standard tuning, so go ahead and grab a guitar and let's go ahead and get at it. My name is Keith. Welcome back to the channel. Alright, so welcome back. Let's go ahead and get the shills out of the way. All the tabs, charts, diagrams that you see in this video, or any video for that matter, are available for free via my Patreon. All you have to do is be a free member. Speaking of Patreon, if you're a paid member, I really appreciate it. It keeps me 100% motivated to keep on putting out these videos. It's a great way to support the channel, and names are in the description. Again, thank you so much. If you don't feel like being a Patreon member or supporter that way, then no harm, no foul. There's another way you could support the channel, and that's via Sweetwater affiliate links. The links I have are for the gear that I'm using in this video, or substitutes for gear if those things aren't available. Again, clicking one of those links before you make a purchase on Sweetwater doesn't cost you anything extra. It just throws a little bit my way, a tiny percentage. So if you did so, I would really appreciate it. If none of that floats your boat, no harm, no foul. Let's just have fun with the guitar. It doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that Guthrie Trapp short, a very small snippet of it, and then we'll break it down.
But we're gonna start with this E chord that has no thirds in it, no major or minor thirds. But here's what it sounds like.
Alright, so what Guthrie Trapp is doing here is in the key of E, and it's a 1, minor 6, 4, and 5. What I'm going to do is play it through a couple times, and then we'll break down the chords and kind of explain things with those diagrams. So again, we're in the key of E, and let's just run through it quickly. Alright, so what are we doing here? Again, it starts with the key of E, so let's break down that first chord and run through the whole thing. Alright, so we're playing the E like this. But that doesn't look like an E. You're probably used to seeing an E like this, or maybe even like this. But like this? Okay, so what exactly are we doing here, and why is that an E? So it all boils down to cage, and this is why this is so important. So let's take a look at an open E here. It's an E-shaped E. That's where that E comes from in cage, right? That open E shape. Now the next letter would be a D, right? In cage. This is also an E. So you could play that E or D-shaped E like this. Same thing as this, right? Just a different inversion, different way to play it. Now, here's the kicker. This is where things kind of get a little different. So instead of playing it like this, that D shape, we're going to put our pinky on the 4th fret of the G string and then bar down on the 2nd fret of the A and D strings. And what you get here, and what he explained, was an E chord but without thirds in it. But in order to understand why there's no thirds, it's important to understand the major scale in the key of E. So let's go through that right now so we can kind of wrap our heads around what he was talking about. So if we look at the major scale for the key of E in open position, it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. The root will be the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right off the bat we have that 5. That's that G on the 4th fret that we're hitting. Then the root right here on the 2nd fret again. And then the 5 again on the A string. Root. So root, 5, root, 5. No threes. And that's what he means when he says we're playing an E chord without thirds in it. So, again, before we move on, it goes without saying we're doing all this palm muting, right? And the other thing is we're going to keep our pinky on that 3rd or 4th fret of the G string the entire time. Right? That's what makes this really cool, and I'll explain all that in a little bit. So, this is our E chord, and we're strumming in those 8s and muted. Now the next in the progression would be the minor 6, and the minor 6 is a C sharp minor. So this is our C sharp minor. So basically we're taking the E chord that we already established we're playing, and then we're putting our ring finger on the 4th fret of the A string, and that's a C sharp, right? And this is a C sharp minor because we have our C sharp, a 3rd, and then this is the 2, which would then kind of turn this into a 9th. So C sharp minor 9th, kind of looks like that. Again, the thing that's cool is that all we have to do is go from this E and then just add that ring finger to the 4th fret of that A string. Now the next chord will be an A, right? So you just lift up that ring finger, hit that open A, and then there's your A chord. Kind of like an A power chord. Or if you're doing a, that's why it's an A, right? What do we got going on here? There's our A. And then to round things out, we have that B chord, which is just a normal B. It's just a B power chord. So we're keeping our pinky there, right? And we're only going to be hitting these kind of, those 3 strings there. And there's that B. Alright, so I really do hope that explained what he was doing there in more detail with the charts and diagrams, and a little bit slower so we could understand it a little better. Now, here's why I think this whole thing is important, the cage, and why I think caged is so important, or inversions of it. I know cage is a term that people throw around all the time, blah, blah, blah. It's important to know this, and here's why. Okay, so here's why this is so important, at least to me. So let's say we're playing it this way. You could play this in many different ways, but if you're singing and you don't want to be looking down at the fretboard the whole time, you just want to stick down here and you do all these chords, 4 chords with very minimal movement right in this vicinity, right? Say E, C sharp minor, A, back to the E. Now, of course, we could do things this way. E, and then the C sharp minor, right? A. Right. So really we're jumping up and down the fretboard, and while that sounds the same or maybe even sounds better in some cases, let's say you're singing and you don't want to be looking down the whole time. You could just do that, right? And a lot of different artists do this all the time when they're playing songs. They never play the song the same way twice, especially if they're up there playing it live, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to be doing what's easiest for them while they're performing. And sometimes they'll just concentrate up here and play differently, and maybe they'll go into the chorus or do something else, and that's when they're going to go into these different inversions. But I've seen Weezer do it. I have a video dedicated to exactly that, how chord charts and all that are only as valuable as what you take from them, because I watched Weezer play Pink Triangle live, and it's totally different multiple ways. Rivers Cuomo, is that his name? Plays it in the same performance. He does things completely differently each time, and it's all the same chords, but sometimes he's sticking here and sometimes he's going up and down. So that's why it's important to understand all this, because it just opens up so many possibilities for you when you understand all these different inversions and being able to play. I got an E there, right? Then you're ahead of the game. Not that many people know that. Well, in any case, I really do hope that helped, and if it did, please give this video a like and subscribe if you already haven't, and I don't really have that much else to say. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Pretty decent.